Hey guys, it's GreyMayJ here and welcome to the first deep dive video on this channel. Recently I've seen quite a lot of videos since coming back to Animal Jam and the Animal Jam YouTube scene about how Animal Jam is going downhill, this is Animal Jam's downfall, Animal Jam is straight bad. And I wanted to do my own little deep dive into this as someone who is able to be here on Animal Jam now and that can still compare it to how it was in sort of the mid-2010s, so the heyday of Animal Jam, if you will, like 2014, 15, 16, those kind of times when people really nowadays have a lot of nostalgia for those times. Now, there's no denying that Animal Jam has changed significantly in the probably 5 to 7 years that I've been gone for, and that is to be more than expected. But I think right now Animal Jam is really facing a kind of turning point in the sense that Animal Jam HQ is starting to realise that the community has begun to outgrow the game, if you will, and what can they do about that? Because there are obviously a lot of older players that want to keep playing the game, but Animal Jam are now fighting to both maintain their core values and who their target audience actually is and what it was originally intended to be, and keeping the players that still want to play the game but are actually a bit older. So to sort of tackle this in just one video, my plan is to walk through a lot of the points that I've seen recurring personally in a lot of videos talking about why Animal Jam's bad. So credit to Regardlessly AJ, Keck AJ and Etchid. This video isn't to necessarily disagree with the points they made. In fact, you'll probably see that I do agree with a lot of the points they made in their videos about why Animal Jam's changed, why lots of people do perceive it as going downhill. But I'm simply going to be adding a new perspective to this, looking at directly through the lens of Animal Jam being perceived as bad when perhaps it's not bad, but all of this being essentially as a result of the aging population of the game and the game's target audience perhaps starting to change. Now, you will notice that I do put a lot of emphasis on the economy of the game, trading in the game, and only talking about a couple of other points. So if you would like me to talk about other points, then please do comment down below. And before I get started, don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment also what videos you want to see in the future. But yeah, let's get started. Aside from trading and economy, one of the recurring themes of the player base's dissatisfaction with the game is the lack of updates and truly new additions to the game. Sure, there are some dens and animals that go in and out of season and are brought in and out of the game every year with that season, the latest example of this being the Mushroom Hut, as you can see here in Jamal Journal. But other than some new store items and a full spin-off of the Coyote that's also recently just been brought out, there are very, very few truly new animals, dens, parties, etc. that are largely accessible to the player base for gems or diamonds outside of bundles. Although I would like to mention at this point, the new promo items that were brought in for free and as non-member items were really, really great to see. And if you didn't know about this yet, or you are yet to redeem your items, as I'm assuming they probably are limited edition, definitely go and check out some of the other Animal Jam YouTube channels and YouTube videos so that you get these before they disappear. Now, is this dissatisfaction stemming from the older player base of Animal Jam? I mean, yes and no. It's rare for a video game, especially one aimed at kids such as Animal Jam, to have retained its original players from when the game was still in its earlier days for so many years. I see many people every day in Jamal Township talking about how they first played the game or joined the game in 2014, 15 or 16 and their memories from what the game was like at that time. And this means at one point, and for a very long time, we're talking 10 years or so, Animal Jam HQ was doing something very, very right in order for them to maintain their players such as they have. It's clear to me that a lot of this came from their weekly Wednesday updates, constantly switching things up for the game and teasing something new which you had to be excited for, and which now you hardly ever come across. Now, due to new players joining the game, it wouldn't really seem this way, nor would it seem this way to younger players, which are Animal Jam's target audience, because these new updates don't seem so, well, old. And of course, this is a problem that primarily resides in the players who have been playing for longer, but at the same time, that doesn't make it okay. After all these years, why turn on the players that have supported and boosted the success of the game instead of just giving them what they want? Although sometimes Animal Jam HQ do bring out new store or adventure items, or clothing or den items, a large problem with Animal Jam's current player base is that apart from those who really enjoy seasonal den decorating like myself, it is simply the case that there is little to no desire for store-bought items, meaning a lot of the updates that Animal Jam do make go unnoticed or just simply unappreciated. This brings us on to Animal Jam's current biggest problem, the economy. Now, over recent years in the game, probably since lockdown or even a bit before when a lot of the player base returned to Animal Jam, there has been huge amounts of inflation which ruins trading adventures, because much of this inflation was caused by the hacking of adventures, like the Forgotten Desert. However, what has really secured this inflation, in my opinion, is the Animal Jam Worth Wiki. It's a super useful resource, however, it also means that instead of valuing an item by what you deem it being worth, like how much you like it, how much you like the colour of it, how much you like the style of it on your animal, it gives the item an exact worth that's completely separate from your own opinion. This, I believe, partially separates the game and the concept of trading in the game from your own personality and what you're like without being influenced by rarity. Because after all, Animal Jam has become about looking a certain way, and that is to say, looking rare. Why wear a party hat when you've got a headdress, even if the colour of that headdress is your least favourite colour in real life? Why wear a boa or a Jamala scarf when you've got a spiked collar, even if you secretly really like the Jamala scarves? Why wear a pink long collar when you've got a black one, even if pink is your favourite colour in real life? And what's my point in all this? Well, simply that when we were younger and playing this game, particularly when it was the earlier days of Animal Jam, while items still had a rough value and things such as the order of the spike rarity was roughly the same, access to information on each item was much more limited, or at least less widely known, and therefore less widely cared about. And although there's nothing particularly wrong with it, as we become more aware of what economy means in the real world, as a lot of the player base has grown up, this is definitely something that's very much transferred into Animal Jam. So we want to know exactly what we can get for the items that we currently have in our inventory, and what we need to have in our inventory in order to get the next item we want, which was not as big of a deal back in the day. This is almost certainly a mindset that has come about as a result of aging and not the game's central values changing. And this doesn't even make the game necessarily bad, it's just very, very different to what it was and a lot more specific than what it was. Although one thing I will say is I do believe it makes the game a lot less wholesome when items are prescribed values so meticulously, and that brings me on to my final point of this video, which is the nostalgia of the game, or the lack of nostalgia of the game. Now it's time to get philosophical. What actually is nostalgia? Well, nostalgia is a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, according to Google, which is irretrievable. And what nostalgia can be known to do is strengthen feelings of social connections, which can be directly transferred to the Animal Jam community. Now, nostalgia in the Animal Jam community can be felt in many, many different ways today. Maybe it's a nostalgia for the old economy, as we just discussed, or maybe this nostalgia is for the old Jambassadors and the old Animal Jam YouTube scene, as they were on scene for such a long time. They spent many, many years making videos literally every few days, and that was entertainment that you were looking for, that you wanted to consume right in front of you, right at arm's length. Perhaps it's nostalgia for the servers being a lot busier. Now, I know I've talked a lot in this video about how Animal Jam has managed to maintain its player base, but the servers did used to be a lot busier. And this meant more things to do, more people to talk to, fashion shows, roleplay, parties, making friends, and having fewer players online and the friends that you used to have no longer playing creates a really, really different overall atmosphere. What Animal Jam is experiencing right now is a loss of community, both through people playing the game and the old Jambassadors, and this is on top of a lack of connection with Animal Jam HQ, and this is through the lack of updates. Although there has always been talks of a lack of connection with Animal Jam HQ due to many jammers suggesting things to add to the game and Animal Jam not really playing ball with that, not taking much notice of what people really, really wanted or were looking for through the game, and that was certainly always an issue. I think people are now looking towards AJHQ and the spotlight is shining more on AJHQ now that there's less community to cover it up. People are really, really relying on the updates of the game in order to keep that sense of community and to keep the community thriving. Now, again, this is something you can say has stemmed from an older player base, as the younger player base, who are still Animal Jam's target audience, really wouldn't know better. They wouldn't know what Animal Jam was like in 2014, 15 or 16. But at the same time, when you do have something to compare it to, it just means that Animal Jam simply doesn't hit the same as it did 10 years ago or 8 years ago or however many years ago. And that is why many players are being led to believe that Animal Jam has become a bad game, that something about their core values has changed in order to make the game that way, when in actual fact, leading on to the conclusion, I think this change is to be expected, and although it's not great and Animal Jam could definitely be doing more to help the game, it's what happens when a player base outgrows a game. So to wrap up this video, what's going right and what's going wrong? Well, to start off with what's going right, we know that occasionally we do still get good updates of the game, like the promo items. They are still bringing back seasonal items, and they are still making seasonal versions of animals, such as the full coyote, which is really cool. Although we know that something that's going very, very wrong is that compared to however many years ago in the earlier days of Animal Jam, there are not nearly enough updates. And I know that Wildworks and Animal Jam HQ have come out and said that there won't be as many updates, so therefore we just can't expect as many. But it really is sort of dissolving the relationship between the community and Animal Jam HQ, which is not the fault of the sort of aging community by any means. If the game isn't updating, if there aren't new things, then you can't expect players to play the game, and I think that is quite right of the community to think like that. That is certainly part of the downfall of Animal Jam. That would be the one biggest reason I would give for the downfall of Animal Jam. Another thing that's going wrong, which I do believe is more in the hands of the community itself rather than Animal Jam, is the rarity system. Now, this is not something that can necessarily be controlled, even if it is more the fault of the community, but prescribing value to items so meticulously is actually really damaging. It takes personality out of the game, giving almost every item in the game a specific value in black long spike collars, and giving such a specific value to every item in the game is what makes it possible to sort of translate the value of an item into euros or pounds or dollars, and that is something that Animal Jam have been really wanting to crack down on, and as such is a bannable offence. But yet the system that we've currently got in the game is something that really easily promotes that. In my opinion, it just encourages the rule breaking that Animal Jam HQ really don't want to see, and just a damaging mindset that things in a kid's game can be worth real money. And as for the nostalgia of the game, I think with the decline in population of the game, the servers being less busy and the old Jambassadors predominantly no longer making videos, I think the lack of nostalgia was always going to be a problem. So in my opinion, that means 2 out of the 3 things we've covered in this video, the nostalgia for the old days of the game and the trading rarity system, that is down to many of the players having aged slightly compared to the general age of the players playing the game in 2014, 15 and 16, and that doesn't necessarily make Animal Jam bad, it just makes Animal Jam incredibly different, which, as I said in the introduction, I think Animal Jam HQ are now realising and starting to try and keep up with. The game has become a lot more about trading, valuing items. The AJ Worth wiki is such a huge part of the game now, and the servers are a lot quieter, the YouTube scene is a lot less vibrant, and those things are all to do with the players of the game. However, I'm still definitely of the opinion that the updates are definitely completely as a result of Animal Jam HQ's neglect of the game. Although it will affect the older players of the game more than the younger players, as you do have that nostalgia factor. They do have old things to compare it to, so every time dens are brought out seasonally that have been brought out before, older players will know how many times it's been done before, making it older and sort of more annoying than younger players or newer players would find that. It's still definitely a problem with the game itself and not the players. So yeah, that is my overall take on the situation. Again, thank you so much to Regardlessly AJ, Kek AJ and Etchid for inspiring me to make this video and try and have a slightly different take on it and why this is all happening. But yeah, if there's anything else you'd like me to cover or expand upon, please comment down below, or if there are any other videos you'd like to see me make, go ahead and comment down below as well. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. This is only my second video on this channel and my first sort of video essay deep dive type of thing. So let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you want more of or less of from what I've done so far, and I'll see you in the next one.